Hey guys, welcome back to Karting with Chris. Today we are in the country of Denmark, and more specifically we are at the Roskilde Racing Center. Now I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. My Danish speaking abilities are basically non-existent. Now for all you non-Danish residents, this track is located about 30 minutes west of Copenhagen, and I have been to this track before. It was about a year ago the last time I was here, and I don't remember a thing about this track. So I'm going to walk you through how the layout of this race will go. So this is a normal rental session. This is what I think is a typical rental session here. I could be wrong. But what we're on right now is the warm-up lap. It's just one lap. You only get one warm-up lap. And we're going to grid up because it is a standing start. And wherever you start on the grid is predetermined, so there is no qualifying. So if you get lucky, you're starting at the front. If you're starting at the back, you're just unlucky. It's not based on skill whatsoever. And then there are two back-to-back heats, basically a pre-final and final. Wherever you finish in the first heat, that's where you start in the second heat, and there's no rest in between. They're back-to-back. So I'm starting in second place. In cart number 10 in front of me, that's my brother. He's starting in second. My dad is somewhere behind me. I don't remember what place he's starting in, but the guy on the right here tells everyone to put their visors down. Lights are green, we're good to go. So you can see right off the bat, the left-hand side just gets a terrible start, and we immediately jump up into second place. Ben, my brother, now is in first place, and I'm just going to try and figure out what kind of kart I have here. I need to know if it's fast or slow, and I just really need to relearn the track because I totally forgot it. But coming out the corner here, you can see Ben definitely gets a better exit than me. But then going down the straight, you can see I just have way more top end than him, so I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to send it through this hairpin right here, and now we're up into first place. So at this point, I'm kind of wondering, do I have a fast kart or does Ben have a slow kart? And, you know, at this point, we're not even one lap in, but I'm pretty confident I've got just a kart on steroids. So whoever was assigning karts at the beginning of this session, most likely a Karting with Chris fan, so shout out to that guy, top-notch lad. Now last time I was here, the karts were much more equal than this. Last time I was here, the top speeds of most karts were basically the same. Same with handling. I only drove one kart, but based off of what I heard other people saying, all the karts were basically the same. So I don't know what they did differently today because my kart's definitely faster than Ben's. If there was a backwards camera, I don't have a backwards camera, but if there was a backwards camera, you would see Ben is already like 1 or 2 seconds behind me, and we're only on lap 2. Now speaking of cameras, for this video, as you can see, I'm using a chin mount. Now if you didn't see my video from last year, I used a chest mount. It doesn't really give you the best camera angles, but the reason I used a chest mount last year is because they wouldn't let me put a GoPro sticky on their rental helmets. Now for this race, I did not bring my own helmet. I am still using their rental helmets, but instead I purchased a strap-on chin mount, and more specifically a Sherwood strap-on chin mount. So basically what it's for is if you have a helmet that you don't want to put a GoPro sticky on, or in my case, you can't put a GoPro sticky on because it's not your helmet, it has these adjustable buckles that wrap around the chin of the helmet. They clip together, and it keeps the GoPro pretty stable in my experience. But the only thing I would say is that I'm pretty sure it doesn't fit every helmet on the market, so make sure you look into that if you are considering one. And also make sure it's aligned perfectly. If you're looking at my video, you can see it's kind of off to the left a little bit. It's because I didn't get it dead center, so just watch out for that. Now these guys aren't sponsoring me in any way, but I still will leave a link down in the description below if you're interested in something like this. Now do keep in mind, like I said, it doesn't fit every helmet, but fortunately on Amazon there are a bunch of different knockoffs, so just get the one that fits your helmet and gets good reviews. So moving away from helmet mount reviews, I know that's not why you didn't watch this video. So this race has kind of started to get boring, so I'm just going to go through the highlights. So we're on lap 6 here, and going through this corner you can see me do some hand gestures here. That's because I'm kind of coaching myself. I talk to myself when I'm driving, but that gesture was basically be more smooth because you can see back through that corner I definitely messed up. So If you just see weird hand gestures, it's probably because I'm just talking to myself. But we're still in first place. We're on lap 6. We can see there is a back marker up ahead. This is going to be the first back marker of the race. And hopefully they don't take us out. I don't have a lot of experience with Danish back markers, but the few experience I do, they're pretty courteous. They won't ram you off track intentionally. So we catch up to them pretty quickly. They look behind them. They know we're there. We go around the outside going to turn 1. And we get the job done. We're still in first place, and no accidents reported whatsoever. Now, throughout this video, you will see me not really taking any of the curbs, and that was primarily because I didn't want to hurt myself. I was already in a lot of pain during this race because the seats are really hard plastic and really quite large, and so you just get thrown about in them, and I didn't have my rib protector or any seat insert, so I was really trying not to, really bruise myself up. But we've caught up to the second back marker of the race, cart number 31. We send it up the inside, and we get the move done. We're still in first place. No accidents to report. There are still 2 more back markers up ahead. Let's see if we can catch up to them. Like I said before, we're in the fastest cart in the fleet, so there's no way they're going to pull away from me. So we're on lap 9 out of 10. We only have a couple more laps to pass these guys. We're catching up to them fairly quickly, and we can see going through this left-right corner up here, we've caught up to them. And let's see if we can pass both of them down the straight. We're going to get in that slipstream on cart 15. You can just see how fast I am down the straights here. It's not going to be enough to pass number 27 into this hairpin, but we get a great exit, pass him on the exit, and we're still up into first place. Now, the one thing I absolutely hated about these carts is that they were not adjustable, at least not that I could figure out. So the seat, not adjustable, the pedals, not adjustable, and I'm 6'2" or close to 6'2", and the driving position was just awful for me. I felt so cramped in that cart. So yeah, if you're really tall, you might be uncomfortable in the cart. If you're really short, good news, you'll fit. So we're on the last lap here, and as you can see, there was no white flag, and so that's kind of telling me that these sessions are time-based, so every race is time-based. I don't know what the time is, probably 10 to 15 minutes if I had to guess. So if you're in one of these races and you're just all of a sudden see the checkered flag, you didn't see the white flag, it's probably because there was no white flag. So my Karting with Chris top tip of the day is treat every lap as if it was the last lap and just go full send. Now I'm going to skip ahead to the last couple of corners of this race, and although this is just the first heat, we still have another one to go. We're still going to finish this race on the top step of the podium and come out with the victory.
Oh, yes!
So we're on the cooldown lap now, and I'm still going flat out pretty much, and that's just because A, I didn't really care, I was just having fun, and B, it will use up more gas and then I'll be lighter for heat number 2. So, win-win. So that last heat was really boring. I was in the front the whole time, not a lot of action. So for this next heat, I thought to myself, what if I just pull off to the side at the start of the race and do a last to first challenge? So that's what I'm going to do for heat number 2. Hopefully we can still end up with the win. So that is exactly what I did. The light goes green, I pull off to the left, and I raise my hand, telling everyone I'm slow, point everyone by, wait for all 12 of the other carts to go by me, and now I'm down into last place. So I think that is officially the worst start in not only Karting with Chris history, but in motorsport history in general. I went from first to last place in less than a corner. But I'm still going to be backing off, especially down the straight here. I know my cart's a freaking missile down the straight, so I don't want to pass just 5 of them right off the gate. So I'm going to let them, establish gaps, let the race settle down, and then I'll start picking them off one by one. So it was at this point that I decided I'd given them a large enough gap. We're already half a lap into this race, so I think I'd given them a big enough advantage. Passing number 27 here, he was straggling, put him out of his misery. We're up into 12th place now, and we can see that there is a queue of karts up ahead, but they're no match for my mighty stallion. Kart number 21 here, thought about diving up the inside here, but he's a little bit of a younger driver. I didn't know how he would react if I sent it, so better be safe than sorry. And coming out of this right-hander, we're going to have the inside into turn 1, and we're up into 11th place. So up ahead in the neon yellow helmet, we see Kart 31 getting a little squirrely, getting the poorest of exits, and that's just going to allow me to just send it up the inside. We're up into 10th place now, and you can see the distance to myself and the next kart in front, and just the pure power of this kart allows me to close that gap significantly. And now we're right on the tail of the next kart in front. That's kart number 13. And this is going to be a little 2-for-1 deal. Kart 13 looks on the inside of the other kart. Bypass them both. I'm up into 8th place now. So the next kart on the list to pass is kart number 15 up ahead. And you can see through these corners just how unfair my kart is. But, I was being generous. I let them all pass me at the beginning of this race. But coming out of this right-hander up here, I tap 15, just letting him know I'm here, so don't turn it on me. And reluctantly, he didn't, so that was very nice of him. We're up into 7th place now. We're about to end lap 2, start of lap 3. You can see the next kart in front is pretty far ahead, but like I've been telling you throughout the majority of this race, I've got a mighty engine on this kart, so closing that gap will not take long at all. So I'm going to fast forward a couple of corners, especially this straight, because not a lot happened. But one thing I want to say is that if you're ever at this track, do not really go too wide through the corners, like this corner right here. You can see I went really wide. Not only does it slow you down, but it's really bumpy over there, and it really hurts. You see I went wide again. Not good for your speed, and not good for your spinal cord. But I'm still catching up to these guys up ahead because they are battling it out. Now, the two karts directly in front of me is Kart 23 and then Kart 29. In Kart 29 is my dad. Now, I don't really get to race against my dad a whole lot because we're usually in different classes, so it's fun to see him racing. And you can see that 23 looked for the inside on my dad, but my dad cut him off. Clean racing from everyone here so far. So, not upset about anything. I'm going to wait to the straight, and you can see just how fast my kart is. Get in the slipstream of 23, pull along beside him, and then there's my dad in 29. We're going to send it through the hairpin. We're up into 5th place now. So coming out of the hairpin, I tap the side of my helmet. I tell my dad, hey, let's work together. But, I was just doing that for fun because I know I've got a much faster kart than him. But looking forward, we see Kart 28 here, and I notice he turned in really early for this corner, so that's going to really compromise his exit. So I'm going to dive up the inside to this right-hander here. I'm going to hold the inside really tight and narrow so he can't get the cutback on me, and he slams into the back of me, breaks my neck, and I get totally wasted. So that was probably a complete accident, or at least I hope it wasn't on purpose, but regardless, that was in the past. We're finishing lap 4. We're now on lap 5. We're in 4th place, and I can see 3rd place directly in front of me. He's no more than a couple seconds ahead of me, so we're looking for a podium for this race. I can see 3rd in front of me, and I can also see 2nd in front of him. So, maybe 2 more positions. We're up into 2nd place. I see Ben up ahead. He's in 1st place, but he's going to be hard to catch because even in a less superior kart, he still can be very fast. Now, this track is actually very fun. It's actually a little challenging as well. So the most challenging corners for me were these 2 corners up here. This left-hander followed by a right-hander. It was just really hard to figure out these corners, and it was actually a lot of fun trying to figure them out as well. And when you get it dead on, it feels really good, and you can see definitely catching up to the guys in front, so obviously taking the corners a little bit better. But yeah, we're rounding out lap 5 here, starting lap 6, and we're within striking range of 24. We're going to send it up the inside into turn 1. We're up into 3rd place now. We're on a podium position. We see 2nd place up ahead. He did mess up that corner a little bit. Going through this, what is this, a chicane? I don't know what this is. But we're now on the straight here, and 16 is going to go defensive. So this is going to be the first person to put up a fight, so I'm going to try and get the over-under on him. He goes in a little deep, but not actually too deep, so nice driving from him, and I'm going to hold him narrow through this left-hander up here, making sure he gets just the bare minimum of space. Get the cut back for the inside of this left-hander right here. I'm going to send it up the inside, hold it a little narrow, making sure he can't get the cut back. We're going side by side through this right-hander here. Again, hold it narrow, making sure there's no opportunities to get that switch back. And now we're safely up into 2nd place without breaking my neck again. So we're on lap 6, or at least we're going to finish lap 6, start lap 7. And we don't really have a whole lot of laps left in this race. And the gap to my brother is quite large, especially since I had to battle that guy to pass him. So it's going to be really hard to catch up to him. My kart was about a second a lap faster than him. That's how much faster this kart was, and our driving styles are pretty similar. And you can see he's a whole straight in front of me. So I'm just going to skip ahead and show you me, slowly closing down that gap. So while I'm catching up to my brother, I'm going to walk you through my fastest lap of the race. Do keep in mind, I'm not a local, and I also had a really fast kart, so, just keep that in mind. So going through the 1st and 2nd corner definitely can take a lot more speed than you think and get right next to those apexes. Do not go onto the rumble strip over there. Really bumpy, will really slow you down. Through this chicane-ish bit, I don't know what you would call that, full throttle, be really smooth through there. And then down the straight, you can duck forward if you want to be more aerodynamic. I obviously was not. Through the hairpin, you can take a lot more speed than you think. Really get on the gas early there. And then through this left-hander, I think if I went more narrow, I could, be a little faster because that's full throttle, and so, shorter distance. And then this left-hander, turn in a little later than you think. Same with this right-hander. You really got to be patient. Don't hurry up the corners, or else it'll really mess up your lap. And then the rest of the track is just full throttle. This right-hander right here, don't get on the apex. Get really close to it because it's really bumpy. And then through these corners right here, I wasn't taking the apexes, but you can. But yeah, that's what my lap looked like. So my fastest lap was, I think, a 106 dead, maybe a high 105. I think the track record is a 105.2, maybe 105.3. So in reality, I really wasn't that far off the track record. I think if I had brand new tires and I was actually trying on this race, I really wasn't trying. I was just kind of screwing around. But I think if I had brand new tires and I focused a little harder, I think this kart could definitely beat the track record. So I'm going to skip ahead to the end of this lap. We're now on the final lap. You can see my brother is right up ahead. That is 1st place. And we're really not close enough to do any moves. But, maybe he makes a mistake and I catch up to him. But going through these corners up here and then getting onto the straight, I looked down. I kind of put my hand up because my kart stuttered coming out of the corner. And I looked at the fuel tank, and there was barely any gas in the fuel tank. So at this point, I'm kind of concerned my kart's going to run out of gas. And the gap to my brother is really not narrowing. So at this point, I was kind of freaking out. Another reason I was freaking out is because I didn't know what lap we were on. Because this is timed, they don't wave white flags. They only wave checkered flags. So at this point, I had no idea how many more laps were left in this race, so do I pit or do I not pit? Little did I know we were on the last lap, so it didn't really matter. And so we're rounding out the last couple of corners here. Definitely not close enough to go for a move on my brother, and there's the checkered line. Didn't run out of gas, and we end up in 2nd place. But all in all, I had a whole lot of fun at this track, even if my first race was a tad boring and my second one almost running out of gas. But if you do live in this area or you have the opportunity to go to this track, I strongly recommend if you've never been here before. It's a good track for all levels of driving ability, even if you're a beginner or advanced. I will say that my kart was really fast, so your experience may vary, and they may have fixed this kart by then. But that's all I'm going to have for today. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, please comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.